The 1996 movie Michael Collins by Neil Jordan is a great piece of historical fiction. But if you like your Irish history or you would like to know the real facts, this video is going to highlight the many historical inaccuracies in the movie Michael Collins. First, we'll look at some of the key characters and then some of the key events. What happened in the movie and then what actually happened in real life. So let's get started. First up, we have the man himself, Mr. Michael Collins. In the movie, he's depicted as leading the treaty negotiations in London, when in actual fact it was Arthur Griffith, a man who sidelined for much of the movie. Secondly, the ambush of Béal and Bláth is shown in a very dramatic style. Though in reality the events of the ambush are very unknown. Next up we have Mr. Harry Boland. In the movie he's depicted as being in Dublin when the delegates from the treaty negotiations returned to Ireland, when in actual fact he was in America. Secondly, and a very important aspect of the movie that's still controversial till today, is the depiction of his death. In the movie it's shown as a dramatic chase through the sewers of Dublin, and he's eventually shot and dies in the River Liffey, muttering the words, "Did we get Mick Collins yet?" There's no historical basis for these final words, and it's definitely something that was developed through folklore. And also, he didn't die in Dublin City. He was killed in a hotel in Skerries when Free State forces attempted to arrest him. Then we have Eamon de Valera. There's a couple of important events that didn't take place. First of all, he never wore a dress when escaping from Lincoln jail. He simply put socks over his boots to hide his footsteps when he was escaping the prison. Secondly, he's shown as an emotionally weak and manipulative person, and this was definitely based on character depictions of him and not factual sources. Depends on how you view the man in real life and if this was a true depiction of the person. Then we have his presence in Cork during the Béal and Bláth ambush. He was actually seen as a figurehead of the Irish Republican Army and didn't have much sway over the men on the ground. And it's not believed that he was actually in Cork at the time, though this is still very debatable. Then we have Cathal Brugha. He is a person who is also sidelined for much of the movie and is seen as a main antagonist for Michael Collins. In real life they did clash very often, but his depiction of the movie is seen in a very negative light, especially due to his actions during the 1916 Easter Rising. Then we have Kitty Kiernan, and much of this is my own personal opinion, but I believe Julia Roberts' depiction of Kitty Kiernan was very overblown.
You've sent your boys out, haven't you? It's written on your face. Every step they take. Like so many Valentines.
Then we have Mr. Ned Broy. He is another death in the movie that's caused controversy since it occurred. In real life, Ned Broy lived until old age and died in 1972. He was also a Garda commissioner. In the movie, he's depicted as being captured and tortured and eventually killed as a spy for Michael Collins. This didn't occur. He was captured for a little while, but he was eventually released during the treaty negotiations in London. Also, the character Ned Broy is an amalgamation of two main people, David Nelligan and Ned Broy. Ned Broy worked in Dublin Castle, while David Nelligan worked in Brunswick Street Station in the DMP offices, now Pearse Street Garda Station. Now let us move on to some key events in the War of Independence that are depicted in the movie Michael Collins and what happened in real life. First up we have Bloody Sunday in Croke Park. In the movie it shows an armoured car entering the grounds and machine gunning the crowd. While armoured cars were present, they were parked outside the stadium, and it was actually Black and Tans and auxiliaries on the ground firing into the crowd. It's said that they were being more methodical than depicted in the movie, targeting particular individuals in the crowd. In the movie it was obviously done to speed up the process of the movie and make it a quick action, but there was no armoured cars present inside the grounds and they didn't machine gun the crowd. Then we have the use of car bombs. At the time, the IRA were trying to make homemade explosives, such as grenades and landmines, but they didn't have the capacity to build car bombs. In real life, the detective sent down from Northern Ireland was actually assassinated by the squad just outside Dublin Castle, but there were definitely no car bombs during the Irish War of Independence. And then lastly, just one more piece. At Béal and Bláth, it's Joe O'Reilly, who's with Michael Collins in the movie, when in real life it was Emmett Dalton. Now, I'm not sure why they did this for the movie because it makes no difference to the historical impact of the day. But that's the last thing I can think of. And with all these historical inaccuracies, it's still a great movie and it does get the blood pumping. Especially the final scenes where it's the real footage of Michael Collins' funeral and the coda soundtrack that goes with it. So if you're interested in a depiction of Irish history, Michael Collins is a great movie. better recommendation would be The Wind That Shakes the Barley. If there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.